What's going on? My name is NFT Flenny, and today I want to talk about day one of the Veve Con exclusives. I'll be touching on my thoughts about these drops, the significance of the con exclusives, and my drop strategy. In the morning we had the Cthulhu Idols, and in the afternoon we had Jermaine Rogers Choices. I was able to secure the Necronomicon, and my mom and girlfriend were able to secure the Bronze and Jade Idols. And they were nice enough to let me borrow theirs for this video. To round off the set, I had to buy the gold idol from the market for about 230 gems because I got a sub 1000. Personally, I like the book the best because I think there will be some kind of surprise that comes with it, or I think there's at least potential for there to be a surprise. It could maybe open, or who knows, something to read. I don't know, I just feel like there's more potential with the book than the statues, but who really knows? It's Veve, anything could happen. I'm not super into Cthulhu and things like that, so the book for me is a little more exciting anyway. But after seeing the idols in AR, I will say that they are starting to grow on me a little bit more, but they're definitely far from my favorite collectibles. Usually I like characters or superheroes or something like that, but yeah, the Cthulhu, not exactly my thing, but I was able to have some pretty good luck during the drop, so I thought round off the set, and also it's the first con exclusive. In my opinion, this makes history and marks the shift in the transition to digital collecting. When you have the biggest pop culture event in the whole world embracing this move and embracing these digital collectibles, I think that really shows a shift in where we're going and where we're headed. And just once more people become aware of these collectibles and just how they don't break, you can't lose them, they can't get stolen, you can take your whole collection in your pocket, I think just more and more people will be latching onto this idea of digital collecting, and I think Veve is already in the perfect spot to just take on this new fan base. And the fact that Veve has the opportunity to independently release the first digital collectible con exclusives, I think we should feel blessed that we're hanging around here early enough to partake and get a chance to buy these pieces of history for somewhat reasonable prices. If you get it during the drop, that's definitely reasonable. The market, I still think in the long term, not financial advice, I still think in the long term they'll be good. Now as for my drop strategy, I haven't had the best luck with drops in the last month or so I knew I had to change something up. So back in the clock gate days, I used to get this error message, and I think it was because I was pressing the button a little bit too early. I had heard people have success pressing it a second or two early, but I think why it didn't work for me was because I have a relatively new phone, and I'm usually able to be in pretty good connection during the drops. So I think when I was pressing it early, I think it was processing too soon, and I was actually pressing it a little bit before the drop, and so it would give me an error. And then by the time I was able to get out of the error and back to the drop, a couple seconds had passed, and as you guys know, that's a couple seconds too late. This time I decided to be patient, if anything, and click the button half a second too late to at least give myself a fighting chance. So I don't actually think that when the clock shows zeros, I don't think that's when the drop actually starts. I think the zeros have to show for a second, and then when one more second passes, I think that's when it actually goes live. The reason I say that is because today was the first time that I even let it go past the zeros, because before, you know, so anxious, you don't want to get left out or do it too late, so you just do it as soon as you think time runs out. But like I said, I didn't want to be late this time, so I waited to see what would happen after the zeros passed, and it looked like my buy now button, it looked like it refreshed, did a quick refresh, and as soon as I saw that on my screen, I immediately pressed it, and then from there I was able to secure my rare night watch. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the Cthulhu drop. I'm a fan because I was able to get pretty lucky on it, but as far as the looks, again, not the biggest fan, but I am a pretty big fan of this Choices set. This was one of the few non-branded collectibles that I wanted to complete a set of before the drop. That was my goal. And normally I don't prioritize collectibles that aren't big brands or ones that aren't first appearance or first edition. I usually try to stick to characters and well-known brands if I can. I think in the long run that those types of collectibles are gonna hold their value and grow in value the best. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. I wish I was able to secure at least one more collectible from the drop so I could have a better chance of completing the whole set, but unfortunately I will not be spending the $1,000+ that would be required to finish this set. So That's unfortunate, but it's how it goes. Part of me wants to sell my rare night watch to fund my Comic-Con collecting binge, but part of my heart also wants to keep this little guy around with me as my little piece of VV history. As for the rest of the weekend, I'll be trying to get anything that I can get my hands on, just because I think that these will be very valuable in the short and long term due to their con exclusive tag. Tomorrow, I'll be going for the Jaws poster, if that's still a thing that's happening, if that's still coming out. If it's not, or if I'm able to go for both, either way, my second choice is the DeLorean poster. I'm not sure exactly how to feel about these. As we've seen compared to other VV 2D poster art collectibles, those don't tend to do as well from a flipping standpoint or from, gaining value standpoint. But of course, like I just said, I'll still be going for them just because they're con exclusives. Let me know what you guys got on day 1 and what you hope to get on day 2 down in the comments below. If you love all things VV, consider subscribing. Hitting that like button would help my channel grow, so if you enjoyed, consider doing that as well. This has been NFT Flenny. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my day 2 recap.